green one. This one's like it's a blue iguana is what they call it, but it's just a morph of the green one. He's a little bluer than they are. They had a green one and it was so mean. He was just like, this one and the other blue one ran away when she stuck her hand in the cage. The green one bowed up like it was about to attack her. She said somebody had brought it back a week later. She said it was nice before they bought it, and it was mean when they brought it back. So
they just overhandled it.
Overhandle it?
Yeah.
Is that how you make them mean? Because I handle this guy every day.
Well, I mean, you get a little, you start handling them a little bit more than they want to. They start whipping their tail. At some point in time, they realize it's working, it's scaring them. So every time they see you, it's kind of like that knee-jerk reaction. This is how you left alone.
Well, I don't react that way when they whip. I'm kind of used to it. you met Jack, the big water dragon. He's a whipper. He's a whipper and a snapper, you know.
How long is he going to grow?
Biggest one of these I saw had his tail chopped off to about right there, and it was surgically put together in a way that it wouldn't grow back, and that lizard was 6 foot long.
Cool.
I don't think I hope he doesn't get that big, but I mean, I kind of do. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
And that lizard ate about...
what a pound of greens a day.
Yeah, he ate romaine lettuce, 2 heads a day. That was a long time ago in Los Angeles that I met that one. But and I've seen several almost that large since.
Cool.
It's the beginning of a beautiful thing, then, huh?
Iguanas are awesome. I remember back in my first few years of exotics, that's all I pretty much saw when it came to lizards was iguanas.
I think they were the first popularized lizard.
I mean, they can be hard to work on. Not so much hard to work on. They can be hard to keep because they need a lot of sunlight. They need a lot of calcium.
Well, I think we're up to the challenge with that. The big thing right now, he's in a 40 gallon. For any other lizard, that's kind of big. But I know when he gets big, we're gonna have to upgrade that big time. I don't think I'm gonna be able to buy a tank that big. I'm gonna have to build a tank big enough for this guy, or a enclosure big enough for this guy. I know they kind of like humidity, don't they? Sure, to keep his cage. I should keep his cage humid.
Then the humidity here naturally is perfect for them. Okay, so you shouldn't have to add anything to it. It should be fine just the way it is.
He gets about a misting a day. He doesn't get as much as the water dragons, but
what I used to do is when I had mine, I would watch the weather in South America. Mine was a Colombian drug lord that came here and was in a witness protection program. Thanks for laughing. And I would watch the weather down, in Colombia. And whenever they would have a storm, I remember once they had 2 hurricanes going through. And, whenever it would rain, with 90% chance of rain today, I'd go and give them a few mists. And I had a hurricane going through one day. I remember grabbing 2 spray bottles, opening the door and going, "This is what's happening in your homeland." And trying to knock him off the branches. Eventually, I had to neuter that guy because he ended up being quite vicious. Now that I think about my storm episodes, I can see why he got a little under the weather or mad at me.
As far as I can tell, this guy, he had a really good temperament when we were handling him in the pet store. He's been, generally speaking, very nice. He's never really bit anything. And just reading up online, one people said if you take him out and you handle him, one thing is you got to let him roam. You got to let him get a little freedom or they get mean.
Yeah, I mean, just make sure that you challenge them. How do I put this? Environmental enrichment is really important. Keeping the same tank all the time. When they're out with you, if you're out exploring things, you're out walking around, it tends to make them a little bit more social. And it's just those first few seconds that you're, excuse me, I'm fighting a sneeze. It's those first few seconds and minutes that you're picking them up that is the big stressor. But if you come into the tank and you're offering them a small bite of an apple or a mango or something that might be relatively normal for him.
We were trying the apples because Petco said that they've been feeding him apples and all that kind of stuff. He does not seem to like the apples.
Oh, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's as long as 90% of his diet is going to be, collard greens and good hearty leafy greens. But occasionally when you're bringing him something, even if he doesn't eat it, if he smells the apple, he's going to taste the apple. It's going to taste sweet. At some point in time, he may bite it. Other times, but every time you bring him something new like that, it's going to be a trigger for him that there's going to be some adventure, there's going to be some fun, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be a bad thing. And this guy's just looking all around. Hey, cutie.
As soon as you took him out and got him kind of calm, he hasn't moved. He doesn't seem too stressed either. He's just kind of... I think he's enjoying the attention. Well, that's the one thing, we have the water dragons, the 2 of them. And they try to climb. You know, they're technically arboreal and all that kind of stuff, and they're not very good climbers. They fall a lot if they were trying to climb or anything. So we're careful with them climbing. This guy right here has amazed me, some of the stuff that he's gotten onto. Like we have poster frames. You know, there's cheap plastic Walmart poster frames that have like a little plastic bezel. He climbed up the plastic bezel. I'm like, how do you even get a grip on it? You know?
Wow.
As soon as he noticed our curtains, he figured out he'd climb to the top of them. I was like, man, when he's 6 foot, he's gonna just shred our curtains.
It's really funny when I think of households that actually have a loose iguana. Curtains are the one place they tend to go to, you know, to migrate to. They're very high. They're right next to the window.
He found that curtain immediately. I'm just like, man, when he's 6 feet tall, he's gonna shred it. He's gonna turn it into ribbons. He's gonna destroy it. He's a really sweet guy, though. And sometimes if I reach for him,
There you go.
nah, that's how he acts at home. He starts climbing everything.
Oh man. Really?
I will tell you, like I said, I've been bit by a bear. I have a stingray scar on my arm, a shark scar on my back. Well, I used to have a shark scar on my back. It healed over. I mean, I have done so many weird things and faced so many creatures. There's nothing that scares me more than an adult male iguana coming at you. Because not only is it a mouthful of teeth, it's got 4 legs full of claws, and somehow you can be standing 3 feet from him and still get smacked square in the cheek by that tail. You know, so how do you combat one of those?
Well, I noticed with Jack the water dragon, when he's mad, and he does, he'll get his attitude. You know when he does. His throat will get real dark, and he'll start doing his thing. He has amazing aim with that tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, got me right in the face. I'm like, how do you do that?
Back, boy.
I was messing with him today. His head was shedding, so I started peeling his head. And at first he was okay with it, and then he was not okay with it. And I'm peeling it all around his mouth, and he starts acting like he's gonna bite me. And he didn't bite me, but he started, threatening, showing those teeth.
Is that all you got? Is just lizards and?
We have rodents too.
What you got?
The guinea pig and 2 chinchillas.
Cool. In your house.
We got, what is it? Let me see. We got a guinea pig, 2 chinchillas, 6 lizards, a snake.
Snake.
The snake's tiny. He's what is he? He's a sand boa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they are small.
So he's just like a little stick. And he's real sweet too. He's the nicest.
North
snake
America's
I've had.
claim to fame when it comes to boas, and it barely makes it to 18 inches.
I was gonna say ours is maybe a foot. And when we got it, she said it had been at PetSmart and it hadn't grown for a year. But I know, pet stores they don't feed him too much. And as soon as we started feeding him, he started just ballooning up. He got so much bigger so quicker.
That's cool.
I was telling her we have a bearded dragon. I don't think you've met the bearded dragon yet. I think that's the only one that we haven't brought here. The bearded and the gecko.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was done growing, and he seemed like he was done growing. He wasn't growing much at all, and he just recently had a growth spurt, like in the last month or so. And all of a sudden, he's like, I'd say put about 25% of his size on that he has now. He got big.
I was like, dude, what are you doing?
He's being real good for you. And with the salad, basically, we have some spray that we do. I don't do it every time. About every 3 or 4 days, I do the calcium spray.
Okay.
About once a week, we have a multivitamin powder, and I just do that with it too.
Photobomb! Crazy human.